Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special lunch edition of our Facebook Live. Now, my name is Kyla, and I'm coming to you live from the Earth Ranger Center. I'm joined here by my very good friend who looks kind of like a bowling ball right now. This is Millie, the three-banded armadillo. Now, we have a really exciting live for you all today. But what we're going to do is learn a little bit about Millie, meet her as well, and do another craft a little bit later on that you can also participate in. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But first, before I get started, I just want to remind everyone what Earth Rangers is. So Earth Rangers is the kids' conservation organization. And we're the largest of our kind in the world. We have over 200,000 members across Canada who are doing their part to help and protect animals and the environment. Now, as an Earth Ranger, there's lots of things you can do. You can get involved in our animal adoptions and have a direct impact on conservation projects by spreading the word and raising funds for animals. There's lots of different animals to choose from, like the bumblebee, polar bear, or even the red fox. Now, there's also things you can do on the Earth Rangers app. One of those is our missions, which are eco-friendly activities that you can do right in your community to have a big difference. Some of those things might be building your own backyard bird feeder, setting up a pollinator garden, or even reducing your carbon footprint. So there's tons of fun things you can do. Just get the Earth Rangers app and you can do those missions and those animal adoption projects as well. Now, while we're doing this live, be sure to comment lots, ask tons of questions, maybe even millions of questions for Millie here. She loves to hear your questions. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. If you think Millie is cute or funny, I sure do. If you think I'm cute or funny as well, that would be awesome. We love to hear your feedback. All right. But I think, Millie, it's your time to shine. So my friend Millie here, like I said, is a three-banded armadillo. Now, they can be found in a few different habitats all across South America. So they can be found in grasslands, in deserts, and even in rainforests in countries like Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. Now, in these rainforests, they usually are varied in grasslands or places where they can burrow. So lots of different places. Now, Millie here, she might look a little bit like a reptile. She might even look to you a little bit like a bug. But sorry to break it to you, Millie is not either of those things because Millie doesn't bug anyone. She is actually a mammal. So just like you and I, Millie is a mammal. Now, they're actually one of the only armored mammals. And their name, armadillo, comes from the Spanish word, which means little armored one. That's pretty fitting for Millie because you can see she's got this armor all over her body. Now, this armor is made up of dermal bones, plates, and then there's keratin over top of it. And keratin is the same thing that our fingernails and our hair is made out of. Millie's is just a little bit tougher and stronger, and that is her protection to keep her safe. Now, she gets her name, the three-banded armadillo, from the three bands of skin that you can see on her back there, 1, 2, and 3. And those allow her to curl completely into a ball. Now, not all armadillos can do this exactly like Millie is doing. They are actually one of the only kinds that can curl completely into a ball and kind of fit together like the perfect pieces of a puzzle. So I'll bring her nice and close to the camera. You can see actually this is her head right here. This is her tail. And she's completely covered, so she is extra safe. She doesn't have a lot of predators because of that. So in the wild, one of the only things that can get through that shell is a jaguar. But other than that, she stays perfectly safe. Now, I have Tammy saying that she looks like something from the dinosaur era. That's absolutely correct. And you know what? Back when the dinosaurs were here, there actually was a huge cousin of Millie, a big armadillo that looked very similar, but was much, much bigger, even bigger than us. And that's one of her ancestors, actually. So that is pretty interesting. And I'm going to see if we have any comments as everyone is rolling on. Let's see. She does have little hairs poking out, as Lisa mentioned. When I put her up close, you guys can see those little hairs. I'll talk a little bit more about them later on because we're going to get an even closer up view. All right, so I have Lisa asking, can she see when she's all curled up into a ball? So that's a really good question. And you know what? She actually can't. She can't really hear, see, or smell anything when she is like this. You can see not even her nose is out, her eyes aren't out, and her ears are even tucked in. So those hairs that Lisa mentioned are actually what tells her what's around her. So when she's curled up like this, she can feel predators around the sides of her, and that way she knows that they are there, because otherwise she would have no idea. So she stays nice and safe. Now, what we're going to do with Millie, we've got our special Millie cam set up for you all. I'm going to let her down to run around so you can see her in action. We're going to get our camera set up. There she goes. Perfect. All right, she's smiling for you all. She's very excited to be here. Now you can see those hairs extra close up and careful today. Nice and close. There you go. Perfect view of those wiry hairs. Now, they're a little bit of insulation. They do help keep her warm, but mostly, like I said, they allow her to feel everything around her environment as she is running around. You can also see as she's running around, Millie has some very fancy toenails. It looks like she's wearing little high heels on her feet. Let's see if she'll go right up to the camera. You can see those toenails. They're so long, they grow past the pads of her feet. She's actually walking on those little toenails, and it does in fact look like she's wearing some beautiful high heels, which is very fitting because, you know, Millie's always going to the ball, right? Now, that's a nice close-up, Millie. Those help her to dig. So they act like little shovels, so she can dig for her absolute favorite food, which, believe it or not, are bugs. And Millie gets really excited when I talk about bugs. As you can see, she's even moving the camera looking for them because she absolutely loves insects. She's what we call an insectivore. So I don't know about how many of you like bugs. If you like bugs, be sure to leave a comment in the section if you like eating them. Millie would be really excited to hear that. But not really my thing, but they are absolutely Millie's favorite thing to eat. You can see Millie is using her excellent sense of smell. So she can actually smell insects up to 20 centimeters deep in the dirt. So she's got that excellent sense of smell because, you see, she doesn't have very good eyesight. So there's a big eye right there, but it's not the best. So her sense of smell is what she uses the most. All right. Oh, Millie. That's interesting. She's changing our settings on our camera. All right, I'm going to go back to her standing here, and I'm going to read some more of your questions that you have about Millie. So I have Sadie saying, I can't believe she's a real animal. Absolutely, Sadie. I feel exactly the same way. Even when she's like this, she kind of just looks like she is all curled up and kind of like a bowling ball. So, but she is real. She is very prehistoric looking for sure. All right. Does anybody have any more questions? Does Millie live with other armadillos? All right. That is a great question. So Millie actually likes to live alone, believe it or not. So they usually are solitary. They don't like to hang out with other armadillos. Once in a while for the breeding season, they will. But most of the time, they're actually living alone. So Millie's more than happy to just hang out by herself, walking in front of cameras, knocking over cameras, and looking for some delicious bugs. Great questions. All right, so I see lots of other questions. Oh, Emily is asking, bugs like crickets, do they eat crickets? So that's a really good question. You know what? I bet you if Millie could catch some crickets, she would absolutely love them. But sorry to tell you, Millie isn't that fast or skilled. She more likes things that are running through the soil, not so much things that are hopping, because she herself can't hop very well. So she would rather prefer things like mealworms, like ants, and even termites. So she's actually got a really sticky tongue. Her tongue is like an anteater tongue. It's really long, and it allows her to go down into the mounds of ants and termites and slurp up dozens of delicious bugs. Kind of like a really long piece of spaghetti. So that is pretty cool. All right, now with Millie, I'm going to put her away just for a bit because we have a really fun craft to do today, one that Millie actually herself recommended, and you'll see why in a second. So just hold tight for 1 minute. All right, so we are back. Now I'm Millie-less, but I have something almost as cute as Millie. This is our next craft we are going to do today, our eco activity. So I did this with all kinds of recycled material from my house. So this is our final project, but we're going to make it together and it's going to be really fun. So we saw Millie. Well, this is her very good friend, Billy. And Billy is a caterpillar. And you can tell why Millie absolutely wanted us to make this eco activity today. Because it's one of her favorite things to eat. Now, this one might be a little big for Millie, but it's the symbolism that counts. So all you need for this craft are lots and lots of toilet paper rolls that you can find around your house, recycled, and a little bit of string, some pipe cleaners, and maybe some googly eyes. So how we're going to start this off is I've already painted mine. You don't have to paint them, but I've got some amazing toilet paper rolls that I found lying around my house. I've painted them all kinds of fun colors. So these are our segments for our caterpillars. So how we're going to start is take a string and put it through the holes in our toilet paper roll. So you can see I have poked 2 holes just like this in the toilet paper roll. And this is the trickiest part. So you might need a parent or someone to help you as you do it. But just sticking the string in one side and then out to the other side. Okay, we've got a good start. That will be his head. So he's got his head right there. All right, let's see. What color should I do next? I'm thinking purple. So now I'm going to do a purple toilet paper roll through just like this. Make sure your holes are big enough that you can actually fit the string through. This is actually really helpful if you have little tiny fingers like I do, and probably like Millie does. I'm not sure if Millie could do this herself, though. She's not quite that dexterous. All right, so there he's got a little bit more of a body. All right. And now I'm going to do the orange. Yes, and if anybody's wondering if Millie will come back out, she absolutely will. We're just taking a little break to make this, and then we're going to see what Millie actually thinks of it, since, you know, she loves bugs and all those things. So let's see. It's proving to be a little harder than I thought. All right, so I've got 3 so far. Now you can do anywhere. You can do 3, you can do 4, 5, 6. You can even probably do 10 if you had a long enough string, however long you want your caterpillar's body to be. Mine that I already made, Billy over there, is about 6 toilet paper rolls long. If you have more, you can do more, and you can make a really long caterpillar. If you don't have that many, that's okay. He can be kind of short, just like me. All right, so I'm going to do one more, actually. I think it'll look good with one more. Let's do another yellow one. All right. So those holes are coming in very handy. I just used a pencil to put those holes in the toilet paper roll. It's really easy. Now I'm going to tie a knot around the end so that my caterpillar doesn't lose his head or his tail. That way he stays nice and together, his segmented body. Looking good. You know what? I think this one's going to be named, so we have Millie, we have Billy. I think this guy is going to be Caterpilly. And I think they will all get along very well. So we have it on the table. We'll just move the camera down a little bit so you can see. There we go. Caterpilly. Now, I'm going to tie a knot on this side too, just to make sure that we don't lose him. Don't want any disconnected caterpillars. Thank you. Perfect. Sorry if our camera work is making you dizzy. We're just trying to stabilize it. So you can see, I'll bring Caterpilly up nice and close in a second. Now, I also have some very fun googly eyes. So you can either get some googly eyes if you have them around your house, or it works just as well if you draw them on yourself. But I have some glue here, and I have some leftover googly eyes from my last craft. Actually, from the pine cone owls that we made a couple weeks ago. Earth Ranger Chris left me some googly eyes that don't stick very well. Okay, Caterpillar's got one eye. Usually they have more than that, so let's get 2 eyes on there. All right, All right, well, our glue is not working as well as I would like it to, but what's a caterpillar without antenna, right? So I have some lovely pipe cleaners here, and what I'm going to do is just make a couple of holes right in the top of Caterpillar's head. Sorry, Caterpillar, you'll like it in a second. And stick those pipe cleaners right through. So there's one. And out the other side. That hole's not quite big enough. I probably should have glued the eyes on after, because now he's blind again. Kind of like he's got as good as eyesight as Millie. Okay, well, you're just going to have one antenna for now, buddy. We'll glue the other one on after. Let's put his eyes back on so he can see what we're doing. And like I said, if you don't have googly eyes, you can just simply draw something on. I'm going to draw a little smile on him because he's pretty happy to be here. All right, so here I have it. I'm going to just hold his eyes on. My glue is still drying, so he's a little bit in the making. But this is my good friend Caterpillar with his cute little smile. I can cut that string off and make it kind of like a little button nose. He's got his eyes that are still drying a little bit. You can see his fun segmented body, and you can wiggle it around. So what I'm going to do now is probably the most fun of the day. I'm going to use, maybe not Caterpillar because he's still drying, but I'll get Billy back here. And Billy's fully dried, ready to go, very excited. What we're going to do is see if Millie likes to hang out with Billy. So Billy is going to go right in our little table that we have set up here, the one that Millie was already in and so lovingly knocked over our camera, but I fixed it. All right. Now, I have also brought some of Millie's favorite food with me, so I'm going to show you some of that. Got some delicious mealworms. So I'm going to save some for my lunch for later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to use them all. What I'm going to do is put them in here. Let's see if we can see a close-up of those mealworms in there. All right. And this is going to be really enriching for Millie. So I'm going to grab Millie, and we're going to see if she can use her excellent sense of smell to find those mealworms. She's meeting Billy for the first time. He doesn't smell like an armadillo at all, Millie. All right, you can see her smelling everything, using that excellent sense of smell. Oh, I think she's found a mealworm. Oh, she's hiding. All right, and there's lots of different smells on Billy. Here, how about the mealworms? There's lots of things to see. All right, Millie. She's not so interested in the mealworms. She's more interested in what else is on the table because she's never met Billy before. So it's very, very exciting. All right. So I hope you guys are making these as well with me and I'm not doing it all alone. Remember, just recycled materials all around your house. All right. And while Millie is running around and maybe eating some mealworms, let's see if she wants to eat a mealworm in front of the camera for everyone. I'm going to answer a few more questions. So I see somebody saying, Emily is saying, how old is Millie and how long do they live in captivity and in the wild? That's an awesome question. So Millie is about 9 years old. Now, in captivity, they can live to be about 15, and in the wild, a little bit less. So about 10 years on average in the wild. So Millie's about 9, but she's still got lots of spring in her step, as you can see. Loves a good close-up. Not really interested in her mealworms today, though. As you can see, I guess I'll have to eat them a little bit later on. Oh, really interested in the camera. So much so that she has broken our camera. All right, Millie. Well, there we go. We've got it back. Millie's also our tech armadillo. So you can see she's also fixing our tech while we are at it. All right, Millie. Not interested in the mealworms so much today, but very interested in Billy and probably Caterpillar as well. Now, while I'm standing up here, I have a couple more minutes to take some more questions from everyone in the chat. How big was Millie when she was born, and is she full grown now? So Millie is absolutely full grown now. When she was born, she was about the size of a golf ball. So they're born usually 1 or 2 armadillos in a clutch, and they're about the size of a golf ball. Their shell is not quite as hard as it is right now. It's a little bit softer, but in about 3 or 4 weeks, it actually hardens up really, really nice, and then she looks just like this. So that's a great question. What else? Does she make noise? Millie is actually pretty quiet most of the time. So they don't make a lot of noises rather than her little breathing. So if she's tight in her little shell, the sound of her breathing kind of echoes in there. And it just kind of sounds like a little huffs. But other than that, she is extra quiet. Doesn't say too much. I have Brian asking, can they swim? So they actually can. They don't really like it, so I don't recommend it. They definitely can swim. They're pretty buoyant, but they prefer to live on land. So they like to dig in the dirt. They don't so much go near water, except for a tasty drink every once in a while. All right. Does she hibernate? This is a good question as well. Millie actually does not hibernate. So because she comes from a warm area, it pretty much stays warm in South America all year round. So Millie just hangs out in the warm weather. She doesn't need to hibernate at all. All right, so, I have one more question to answer. Can she hear? Well, her ears are so cute. From Sadie, absolutely. So she doesn't have the best hearing. Like I said, her nose is her strongest sense, but you can see those little ears. Let's see if we can get a close-up of those little ears. They kind of remind me of little taco shells because when she curls up in her shell, they curl right on up with her. So when she's in that shell, she can't hear anything at all. So her hearing is, when she's out of her shell, it's a little bit better, but still not amazing. Now, Millie definitely had fun today. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting her. Thank you for all your questions and comments. I hope you guys made your very own Billy or Caterpillar at home using recycled materials from around your house. It was really fun. You can make them different kinds of colors, different lengths, and even make 2 or 3 so they can all have a friend. Now, remember, if you want to make some even more eco activities, in the comments, we are dropping a link that has information about even more eco activities that you can get sent right to your email. And if you visit our Facebook page, you can also find that link as well. You can get daily eco activities just to do with different recycled materials around your house to keep busy. Now, we'd also like to thank our sponsors at Honda for allowing today's live to happen. And that code that was there as well, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That code that was there is 4birds21. You can use that in the app and get yourself some extra bonus points. So the Earth Rangers app is completely free to download. You can do all those kinds of cool things that we mentioned earlier, like missions and protecting animals in the app, and get lots more information on our eco activities as well. So thank you so much, Honda. Thank you so much, Millie, for coming out today. Thank you, Billy and Caterpillar. All right. And thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.